Teachers' unions vote for strikes over pensions row. Labour targets Commons votes on 50p tax, granny tax and pasty tax. Protester arrested after most dramatic race in history. And Archbishop delivers final Easter sermon. Good afternoon. Two of the UK's biggest teaching unions are on a collision course with the government after voting for further industrial action, including strikes over pensions, pay and job losses. The National Union of Teachers, NUT, passed a resolution at its annual conference in Torquay seeking fresh walkouts as early as this summer amid concerns over the government's changes to public sector pensions. It came just hours after the NASUWT, which is holding a conference in Birmingham, agreed to escalate its industrial action campaign against attacks on pay, pensions, working conditions and job losses, raising the possibility of strikes in the autumn term. The past resolution said, "Conference is committed to further extending the current national action instructions to restore teachers' professionalism by attacking policies and practices which deprofessionalise teachers, including punitive fallout from the inspection and accountability regimes." The NASUWT was the first teaching union today to pass a resolution calling for further industrial action over government reforms. The NUT's talks could have paved the way for a fresh walkout, which could even be as early as this summer. The NUT has calculated that under the government's proposals, teachers will lose out in the following way. An inner London teacher with 10 years' experience will lose an extra £49 a month from April, expected to rise to £123 a month by April 2014. A teacher outside of London will lose an extra £30 a month from this month, expected to rise to £74 per month from April 2014. The NUT, along with another number of other trade unions, has been embroiled in a row with the government over the public sector pensions for more than a year. It took part in a walkout over pensions on June the 30th last year, as well as joining the TUC's National Day of Action on November the 30th. NASUWT Treasurer Brian Cookson said there has been an unprecedented vicious prejudice and particularly unjustified attack on the public sector in the last 2 years. But an DFE spokesman defended the government's plans. Ahead of the conference, teachers made it clear that they would not stop at strike action. The vote over strike action come as the NUT released a survey claiming that teachers are demoralised due to working conditions and pupil abuse. More than 2 in 5 teachers say that their morale is currently low or very low. Almost 6 in 10 say their morale has declined in the last 2 years. A quarter said that they currently have high morale. The YouGov poll questioned 852 teachers in England and Wales between March the 20th and the 26th. Labour will attempt to defeat the granny tax and the pasty tax and the abolition of 50p tax by calling a series of Commons votes, it said last night. The Shadow Chancellor Ed Balls insists it is not too late to reject the unpopular budget measures and is calling on disgruntled coalition MPs to back the party's bid. In an article for The Sun on Sunday, Mr Balls said it is not right and it's not fair that the highest earners will benefit from the reduction in the top rate of income tax, while millions of pensioners will be left worse off by Chancellor George Osborne's measures. He is also demanding a government rethink on the draft plans to impose 20% VAT on pasties and other hot food. 2 weeks ago, Balls told ITV's Daybreak that his party was baffled by Osborne's budget. The Chancellor insists no pensioner will lose cash as a result of the scrapping of age-related allowances. But the Treasury acknowledged that 4.5 million pensioners would lose out in real terms as a result of the decision to phase out the relief. Under the Chancellor's plans, the allowances will be withdrawn for new pensioners from April next year, while existing pensioners will have their allowances frozen at $10,500 for over 65s and $10,660 for over 75. Labour is tabling a series of amendments to the Finance Bill later this month. The party was mocked when many of its MPs missed a vote last month on the move from a 50p levy on the highest earners to a 45p rate. But the party insists that the vote would have wiped out all income tax and instead attempting to force a vote on removing the new rate. A swimmer who brought yesterday's boat race to a temporary halt has been charged on suspicion of a public order offence, Scotland Yard has said. The annual Oxford-Cambridge competition was restarted after the wetsuit-clad man appeared close to the boats in the River Thames in London, narrowly avoiding the blade of an Oxford oar. Cambridge powered to victory, but celebrations were muted while Oxford rower Alexander Woods was taken to Charing Cross Hospital after collapsing in the boat. Sources named the swimmer who stopped the race for the first time since 2001 as Trenton Oldfield. Police said he was released on bail late last night, charged with a public Section 5 public order offence, namely behaviour likely to cause harassment, alarm or distress. He will appear at Feltham Magistrates Court on Monday, April the 23rd. In this video shared by YouTube user Dave Melkman, Oldfield is seen being booed by crowds as police escorted him from the scene. Oldfield, who studied contemporary urbanism at the London School of Economics, is also joint coordinator of a not-for-profit organisation called by This Is Not a Gateway, which creates platforms for critical projects and ideas related to crisis. According to its website, he has worked for more than a decade in non-governmental organisations specialising in urban renewal, cultural and environmental programmes. Carl Hudspeth, president of the Oxford University Boat Club, blamed Oldfields for ruining his big cruise big day. He also said Mr. Woods was considerate and will hopefully be okay, offering thanks for the many messages of support the rower had received. Assistant race umpire Sir Matthew Pinsent explains why the race stopped by Oldfield's actions. It was almost half an hour after the unprecedented disruption that the race was later restarted. The drama continued when a clash of oars led to Oxford crew member Hanno Wahoundsman breaking his blade, allowing Cambridge to pull clear. The contest ended in no presentation ceremony, and the boat race company labelled it possibly the most dramatic in boat race history. Finally, the Archbishop began his final Easter sermon before he steps down, explaining how young people's hostility towards faith is not extreme as society perceives, with many taking the issue of religion seriously. He warned that now was the worst possible moment to downgrade the importance of teaching religion in secondary schools. Dr. Williams, who will take up a post at Cambridge University, also told followers that the ultimate test of the Christian religion is not whether as it is useful, beneficial or helpful to the human race, but whether it is not its central claim, the resurrection of Jesus Christ, actually happened. It has been a controversial reign since he took over in 2003. Under his leadership, the Church of England nearly split over an ordination of gay clergy and women bishops. Dr. Williams has shown no resistance to the appointment of openly gay bishops, as well as showing continued support for the ordination of women. He will continue to carry out the duties and responsibilities of the Archbishop of Canterbury, both for the Church of England and the Anglican Communion, until the end of the year, Lambeth Palace have said. That's it. I'm back with the news at about 6:15. Till then, goodbye.